Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rum on the Couch video number 49. Dave here from Manchester Rum Festival. For this episode I wanted to showcase a brand that I think we've all come across in some way or another over the last several decades. If not yourself personally from your own rum experience, most likely a family member spoke about it, had it at some point as well. And that is Cockspur rum from Barbados. Now, although Cockspur haven't got their own physical distillery, they use the West Indies Rum Distillery, which, as we now know, is owned by Maison Ferrand, Mahoma Plantation, for example. But I thought, you know what, even though they haven't got their own distillery, it's never stopped me from taking a look at what a rum is all about. Obviously, Barbados is seen as some of the best quality rums available to the market of the world. And obviously, we know about Dawley's and Foursquare. We know about Mount Gay. We've focused a little bit on St. Nicholas Abbey as well. So it makes sense. I suppose it's the last big brand of memory that comes out of Barbados. And to be fair, I suppose not a lot of people do know it originates from there. It says it on the bottle, of course. But Cockspur itself in the UK has had a bit of a refocus. Unfortunately, COVID, I suppose, has lacked that a little bit in the last 12 months or so. But I do know that the new bottle looks, to be brutally honest, in my mind, are a lot better than they have been. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Cockspur out into the UK market and essentially able to really showcase what Barbados as a country for rum is all about. So I have got the thing you've just seen there. I've also got some of the Cockspur Old Gold. I've actually got a decanted bottle of the Cockspur XO, as well as the spice variety in Balla. So Cockspur itself, like I say, is Barbadian, and it's been around since 1884. I'm just going to double check that. Yep, 1884. There was an original spice which sort of got me onto Cockspur. I thought I had a bottle. I may have got rid of it when I was drinking, or I had it showcased at my bar at Marigold Bay a couple of years back. But like I say, Balla sort of replaced that, I think 2, maybe 3 years ago. So it started to reintroduce what the brand, they have a really good rum punch that I've heard is a fantastic showcase of essentially, in my mind, the rum punches you receive on arrival in any of the hotels in the Caribbean, which is obviously a really good shout. And I'm a massive fan of those kind of, more traditional rum punches that you do get as you actually taste the rum. It's not just full of sugar and sweetness. Sugar and juices. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. So I've already poured myself a little bit of Cockspur Fine rum. This is 37.5% ABV. It's lacking any sort of age statement. I've just had a look at their website as well. Essentially, it says it's matured slowly in bourbon oak barrels before being expertly blended to create the final product. There's a lack of any sort of number, any sort of guidance, but Cockspur has been around for a while. I'm hoping they will obviously start to catch up and be transparent, but we can only hope. So I poured a little bit in here. And the first thing I get is pretty much that caramel. A little bit fresher than I remember as well. Definitely get the molasses, definitely get the kind of oak elements, a bit more, it is sweet, but not sickly sweet. I think it may surprise people that it's not a Foursquare, it's not a Mount Gay profile, but it's on its way to it, I'd say. Bit of butterscotch, definitely a bit of butter as butter, not just butterscotch element. There's actually a little bit more than I remember on the nose of this, which is good. On the palate, thin, definitely buttery, quite oily. Still quite fresh, and it's actually quite a long profile. It's really sticking around. Don't really get as much of the tannins from the staves of the wood as much as I remember. And I suppose as expected from the nose as well. But for something that is, off memory, has been focused as a mix of rum, that's not the most offensive thing to drink on its own. I just got a bit of a nose of petroleum, so I could see why maybe that will put a handful of people off. But to be fair, it does make a really good rum and coke, really good rum punch, and I can see why they're releasing, or have released, sorry, in the UK, the Cockspur rum punch. I presume it uses the fine rum as the base. Yeah, to be fair, it's not a bad start, and it's a good introduction to what Cockspur is all about. Now, in order, I want to go for the Cockspur Old Gold. Now, this is 43% ABV. I'm just going to have a quick look here. Again, doesn't really have any sort of age profile on it, but let's have a quick look here. No, it's got some tasting notes. That's as far as it gets. There's nothing on the bottle itself. I mean, it's good to see, but it is 43% ABVs, which is obviously a huge upgrade of 37.5. It might actually surprise people. I think it surprised me when I first saw it. It's like, oh, 43%. Fair play. Not what you'd expect from Cockspur. Obviously, beautiful colour, to be fair, from that one. Beautiful golden hue. Pardon me. Not as impactful on the nose, to be fair. Definitely a lot more of the wood tannins. Definitely that kind of... What is that? Yeah, the oak has a lot more impact on here. That's kind of pretty much all I'm getting. It's a little bit of seasoning. I'd say a little bit of spice, but not nothing too drastic. Excuse me. There might be a little bit of muscovado sugar in there. I feel like there's a grain of elements perhaps, but not too much on the nose. Oh, my apologies. All right, let's give it a taste, because I'm hoping if I come down with a cold, I'm going to be drinking a lot more rum at the moment. Actually quite smooth. Velvety, a little bit of dryness on the mid-tongue there. Definitely more oaky. Definitely more of a traditional rum compared to the Cockspur Fine. I don't know why I'm saying Fine. Well, maybe it's Fine. It does lack other characteristics. I mean, the Fine's got a lot more going on with different flavour profiles coming together. This one is a little bit more one-dimensional. You get a little bit of vanilla. I'd say more kind of dried vanilla. It's not as fresh as I would like it to be. But I would say from a more, maybe not a rum amateur, that's the one to experience to sort of get what Cockspur is all about. It's not a bad rum. I wish it had a little bit more to it perhaps, but I wouldn't want to mix it. I'd start to play around. Maybe a good go-to rum old fashioned could be a good shout for the XO. Not too sure what the price is, but yeah, as a liquid, I feel like rum old fashioned could actually work quite nicely. I'll have a little bit of orange water in there to really maybe lift some of the citrus elements and bring out a flavour profile that maybe I'm not picking up as much. But yeah, not a bad show. Not the XO, so the Old Gold. So this is now the Cockspur XO. So I got a decanted expression of this when I was talking to the guys who import this into the UK. And let's give this a go. So I have just had a quick look on their website, because obviously I've got no information at all other than the words Cockspur XO on the bottle. And it says here, apparently it's a work of art. The vintage rum is aged to perfection in American bourbon oak barrels that are hand selected by the master blender himself or herself, blended together, and then apparently it's left to mature in Spanish Oloroso sherry casks, and limited to only 100 casks at a time as well. So bit of a Spanish element to this one. Obviously sherry, I'm a fan of the Amontillados, I'm a fan of the PX, so yeah, they don't get any. Oh, that's a shame. There's a small hint. Not as pronounced as I was hoping it to be. I don't actually have an idea what the ABV is either, but it smells less than the 43% of the Old Gold. It's really lacking something, unfortunately. I'm hoping maybe the taste, the profile will start to open up a bit more. There we go. It's all on the palate. Definitely sherry profile in there. Definitely in Oloroso style. You've got, it's wet. It's actually quite mouth-watering. All my taste buds are really sort of bumping off right now. Oh, wow, yeah. very mouth-watering indeed. Quite soft, quite easy drinking. It's not as dry as the Old Gold. Actually has a very similar ABV, I feel, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, definitely not as dry. It's a beautiful wetness to this one. There's a lot of mouth-watering elements happening here. A little bit of vanilla. I get a sort of sweetness towards it. A little bit dry actually on the outs. Maybe it's because I'm talking a little bit more, but as I breathe in, it might be drying it out. But yeah, it's quite a long, lingering profile. Not as rich as I would like it to be. Maybe not as powerful compared to other Barbadian rums that are out there, but not a bad shout. It's in my mind, unfortunately, it's a bit all on the palate, but still a decent expression from Cockspur there. All right, so last one. I've kept the spice till the end. So this is Cockspur Balor. I'm just going to have a quick look here to see if it's aged as well. It's not. But rum spices and other natural flavours at 40% ABV, so it's definitely an upgrade to their original spiced rum. And let's give this a go. So a bit of a darker colour in here. Doesn't give me an indication of what spices there are. Let me have a quick look on here. Secret blend of charred molasses, infusions of local spices, and a touch of heat for a mysteriously intriguing experience. Gotta love websites. So, I mean, that's a lot darker colour than the further three expressions I've just experienced. First thing I get, rich vanilla, definitely muscovado profile there. Cinnamon, I suppose I'd expect to with a lot of the spice rums. Quite rich, very, very rich indeed. Something else in there. It's like a black strap element towards it. Not as spice heat as I expected, which is good for me. I'm not a huge fan of spices as a side, not just spice rums. Definitely rich, sweet. It's got a slight, it's not as fresh sweetness as I would like it to be, but a little bit sickly in my mind, but that's, again, just for me. Oh, make a banging rum and coke, to be brutally honest. Be good with ginger beer as well. I get a little bit of a longevity on this one, but the spices are there. Unfortunately, I don't get as much rum as I was hoping, especially now I've just reintroduced myself to the fine, oh God, I keep wanting to say extra Old Gold and the XO. But it's good that it is 40%. It's just a shame I don't seem to pick up as much of the rum. Obviously, feel free, let me know in the comments if you ever experienced the Cockspur Balla, but you get a bit more of the rum than I would. But to be fair, of all the spice rums I have, that's not a bad shout. It does tick the ABV box, and although it's not maybe all fresh spices, you do get a decent hit of it, and it's quite a long profile, to be fair. Like I say, this would make a really good rum and coke. I think I did, my bartender at Marigot Bay did a couple of Halloween serves using Balla, and it actually seemed to go down pretty well, which is where this bottle came from. I know it's a black matte sort of bottle, you can't see through it, but it is relatively empty. And we just did it as a bit of a showcase, so I was happy to do that at the time. I think it's the first time I've had it since. And yeah, I would actually, I'd stick that into a spice rum punch. It's a real richness towards it, like I say, which ticks a box. So, ladies and gents, I'm hoping that gives you a bit of an idea what Cockspur rum from Barbados is all about. Like I say, do check out the new looking bottles, head to their social media. As you'd expect, Cockspur is relatively widely available. I think it's in a handful of supermarkets still. If not, I think it's going to be back into it in the near future. I definitely know it's online. Check out Master and Malt, Whisky Exchange, Drink Shop, Raw Mile Whiskies and so on. But other than that, let's experience what Barbados is all about when they don't physically own their own distillery, yet still have the heritage and history in regards to what Barbados is all about. So ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you're watching us on YouTube, do please give us a subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook, give it a share as well. And I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you.